I spoke with a friend of mine who's a professor at University of Oregon, teaches there. I teach to the nursing school twice a year, do a little hour thing for them. And I told her about the death of my dog Budo a few days ago, and she said, it's so, we learn so much and it hurts so much when our beyond human friends die. I love that, beyond human. And the grief is certainly passing, diminishing remarkably. I still miss him. Like I go to open the door and he's not there. But it doesn't have pain in it. It's just missing. It's just a thought. So I have one more poem for animals. And this is from John O'Donohue, who was an amazing poet, Irish poet. Oh, I wanted to record too. There, I think I got getting it together. I was kind of blasted there for a couple of days.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, there we go. Very mindful, though. Very mindful the last few days. And very tender. Oops. I got to turn that off. Unless it's... Hang on here. What's going on? Oh, I couldn't hear him. Yes, that's good. Thank you. I haven't checked my incoming sound. Dave Mayer, would you say something so that I can see if this is working?
You caught me at a coughing fit.
Perfect. That sounds like a cough. Thank you very much. I'm going to mute myself for a second. Okay. Here we go. To learn from animal being. Nearer to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence. Animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are. Whereas they are always looking out from the here and now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being. Learn to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind, and the light, and the rain. Choiceless awareness. Nearer to learn from animal being, nearer to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence. Animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows, thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are. Whereas they are always looking out from the here and the now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being. learn to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. So, dear friends, let us sit in our animal nature. Let us notice that there, in fact, is a body here. And it breathes. It breathes all by itself. Just as it was for Buddha in his little bed. I could look over at him during the daytime. He went to work with me. Breathing in, breathing out. The earth breathes us. And so we, quote, pay attention. We attend to the fact of in-breathing and out-breathing. And we don't need to evaluate our meditation. Am I doing well today? It should be different. I should be different. It is exactly as it is, this moment. Among the enlightenment factors, curiosity comes second. Mindfulness, then curiosity. What is going on? The breath comes into being, exists, and then vanishes. There's often a pause between breaths. And there may well be thoughts, a wandering mind. There's no need to fight with any of it. Instead, we bring love to the present moment. This moment is exactly like this. It's a remarkable thing to be lost in a wandering mind, to be embedded in a memory, maybe a memory with emotions. And then to wake up. And it doesn't require any thoughts. It's just, that was a dream. That was a wandering mind. Nothing actually exists in the way we believe. It's always, always, always in constant change. And so we embrace the in-breath and the out-breath. We embrace sounds. We embrace the sensations in the body. Each breath spontaneously begins. It breathes itself. The same is true for thoughts. Does there have to be someone thinking them? Or do they arise spontaneously the same way the breath does? Emotions. Do they have to have someone having them, or are they really like the wind or the rain? Like volcanic eruptions? Like bird songs? Isn't it interesting how the mind forgets what it's doing? It gets involved in some plan or some memory. And it's as though it's real. That particular dream becomes real for a little while. And then awakeness comes. Might be some story of resentment, some story of poor me and victimhood. Might be just a longing for something. And whether it's a 30-second wandering mind, or an 18-year relationship with a dog, or a marriage. It's then a dream. It came, and then it ended. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp after. And so the Buddha said, set yourself free. Now. Wake up now. Don't plan on waking up sometime in the future when you've done 15 retreats and somehow earned it. You've always been it. Just like now, sitting here, as the body breathes in and breathes out. One thing we have as a human is an imagination. We create pasts and futures, realities, all the time. Let's use these imaginations for a few minutes, a few moments. And imagine that you are present as you are today with your adult, highly developed consciousness, with mindfulness and compassion and love. a recognition of mortality, because you've seen friends come and go. A good friend of mine just the other day said, the older I get, the more dead friends I have. It's true. But imagine being present at your own birth. Maybe being the person who holds the baby, you, as you emerge. A little bloody, covered in vernix, not breathing yet. And you get to hold yourself as you take form. And maybe you have a nice warm blanket there. That's a nice touch. And you do, of course, what everyone present always does. You should count the fingers and toes. And then you watch as as this infant suddenly gasps and takes that first big breath, your first big breath, inflating your lungs. And you hold on to yourself. You don't let the medical people get you. And you watch yourself as you breathe. And you cry. It's not a bad crying, it's a crying of life. It's, I must breathe, I must cry to get my lungs fully inflated. What would you say to that little baby? Or what are you already saying with the sweetness of your touch? You might just pick yourself up and place yourself against the body. Maybe you get to do this without the cloth, too. So you feel the beautiful touch of yourself. What would you say? What would you like to say? I'm so glad you were born. I'm so glad you made it. I will love you. I love you. Let the tears come. You're present at a miracle. I love you. Bask. Bask in your own reception. What are the words you've always, always, always longed to hear? You're really okay. You've come to the right place because I will care for you. What is it? What are the most loving words? What is the most loving action? Perhaps there's an act of worship at seeing those perfect little fingers. They're so tiny. Those pudgy little toes. Loving is an act of intention. It's not just a feeling. I love you and I will take care of you. And remember this, at any moment, you can come back to this. Or maybe you've had the privilege of holding someone else. A child of your own or a child of a friend, or maybe a newborn dog or cat. Or maybe a newborn morning over the mountains or over the salt flats. Let us let ourselves be the love that we are. Let's stop holding back anything from life. It's just not worth it. And please now, my dear Dharma friends, notice the body that sits here touching the chair. Notice the life in what you call your hands. The life in the cheeks, in the throat, the lips. And bring awareness, awaken awareness, be that awareness which inhabits the eyes. And then notice the intention of opening the eyes. And then let it happen. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. And as you let your eyes open, don't go back to sleep. Let them find faces on this screen. Imagine this person as a newborn infant. Move to another one. Imagine them in their utter vulnerability. Have absolutely no way to take care of themselves. And be the one who catches them. Be the one who supports their little head as it emerges. Or maybe they're a C-section baby. And as soon as the medical world has let them out, be the one who holds them. There's just no reason not to love each other. We are apparitions. We are not real in the way we think we are. And we are astonishingly real in that we are here and capable of loving each other. We're capable of hating each other too. How utterly absurd. I want to remember. I don't want to leave doing this, of course, but I just remembered a teaching I got from a monk friend, Achan Samedo, Chandako. I had a really beautiful office over on the west side, where I live actually, in the Corbett area for 12 years or more. It was an old house, 100-year-old house then, beautifully cared for. And I had a window that looked out. I could see Mount Hood from where I sat. Now there's 1 million tons of glass and stone between that building and Mount Hood, all those buildings that get put on the south waterfront. But we bought the center. The next stage of my destiny was coming, and the center had a cute little boxy, like a garage. And I was moving. And I was there, and Chandako had been with me in my old office. And I was in what was to become my new office and feeling nostalgic. Boy, that office over there on Kelly Street was so fine, and I had so many good experiences there. And he said, Robert, sometimes you have to leave really good, fine circumstances as well. You don't just leave when things are bad. Sometimes you leave when things are exquisitely good. And there's the next step. So I want to mention my dear friend, beloved friend and colleague, Candle Summers. This is her Sunday night to be on. 6:30 to 8:30, I think, on Sunday. You can find the information and the link on the website. And during my absence, the other teachers will be in this seat, metaphorically in this seat. They will appear on this screen at the same time. And I'm most grateful to them for that, also for gracing my life over these years. Kat, are you here? Or Birch, are you here? I saw you, Birch.
Yes, Pan.
Hi, Robert.
Hi there.
Birthday.
Hey, stop. Are you wanting to be queer now pitch?
Yes.
Okay, everybody, on February 13th, there is a new queer affinity meditation group called, I will tell them it's your birthday in just a second, but you have to be silent until I'm done. And so it is on February 13th from 6:30 to 8. It is co-facilitated by Birch and I at the very least start. We're really hoping for rotating leadership and rotating ideas. Anyone who identifies anywhere along the LGBTQIA plus spectrum is more than welcome. The link is in the digest. Really hope to see you there. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. It's kat@portlandinsight.org. And also, while I have the floor, it is my 5-year-old's birthday, and he woke up and all he wanted was for the Sangha to sing to him.
Oh, yes.
Unmute. I'm just taking, because we got to go to school. That's why I'm like not letting you do it, Robert. I'm like, can we just sing to him so we can go to school, please?
Right.
Please?
Well, we have to share his name, too.
Oh, right. His name is Pax Robert, and he's 5 today.
What's your name, Robert?
To you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pax. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. birthday, Pax.
Happy birthday.
Hooray! Happy birthday.
Thanks for coming.
Happy birthday, Kat.
Wow, that was fun. Are you extroverted, Kat? How beautiful. Thank you for letting us into your exquisite family for a moment. Remember when you were 5? If you weren't supported beautifully then, why not do it now? Remember yourself at 5. There was an astounding human being called Milton Erickson who walked the earth. He got polio at, I forget what age, young. And he spent a year sitting in the kitchen, I think, in bed, watching everybody. And he watched and he watched and he watched. And he learned about human behavior. And he became the father of modern hypnotherapy. And there's a great book about him called Uncommon Therapy, worth a read. But anyway, one of his very famous stories of his work was there was a woman who had a very difficult life, and he met with her a few times, and he went back. He and she went back in his storytelling, in his trance states, to every birthday of her life, and there was a magical stranger that showed up at every birthday. And so the neglect and the violence and so on of her life had something added, which was that this magical stranger showed up and always had just the right thing to say and could reassure her that this wasn't going to last forever and so on. And it changed her life. So we set ourselves free by becoming clear that it's a dream and that it's all anicca dukkha anatta. And we can also love ourselves. We can. Of course, we have to do the work of grieving and the anguish of grieving. God, it hurts. But if we let it hurt, we discover it's empty. There's no one home. So anybody have anything else to say? I need to end pretty close on time today. I have a very busy day of finishing up things here, delegating. The contractor who put the new gutters in did it wrong. So I got to write to them.
Hi, Robert.
Michael.
Good morning, everybody. I wrote down some thoughts I wanted to share this morning. I've never known Buddhism as a religion. For me, it's a way to learn about love and to learn to take refuge in reality. It has been an emotional week. I listened to a woman speak of losing her husband in an avalanche. And then it went on like that. Stories of loved ones suddenly sick, or suddenly gone, or going away. And I've been thinking of Thich Nhat Hanh and the 400 students walking behind him. It made me sad to think of that. At first I thought I was sad for the students, longing to liberate themselves, and longing for someone to show them how. Then I started thinking of him, and how lonely it is to be a leader. Not some charlatan selling charms, but a person devoted to the welfare of others, to holding other people's pain, and to being strong for them. It's a position filled with rewards, and it's one of life's loneliest places to be. But without people in it, none of us survives. It's easy to imagine Thich Nhat Hanh or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. But I started thinking of the locals, the teachers and advocates, and all the others who work to knit communities together. And finally, I thought of the parents, now and up through ages past, holding their families' trouble and pain, standing in that loneliness again and again, finding their refuge there. Amazing. The parts of this practice I love most are the glimpse it provides of wonderment and the certainty it instills of my responsibility to it. So I bow deep to all of that and all of you this morning.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Robert, I'd like to share something, if I may, about it's really been transforming my practice this week. I had an intense experience this last weekend, and it allowed me to visit what I call the love hole from my early being, and had an insight about the hindrances, the thoughts, the things that come up when I sit. And the insight that I came to was that this is, I say body just because it's a word, but it's what comes into the mantra, but really it's my being. That with focus, as I sit with a particular hindrance, I sort of have a long, slow exhale and say, this is my body loving me. That whatever hatred or disliking, even my nattering, narrating brain, if I sit with that, it's taking care of loneliness. It's taking care of abandonment. And I sit with it and I just have a long, slow exhale, attending to the breath. And I just say, this is my being loving me, protecting me. And it's been just transforming my practice and walking through daily life. If I'm watching these instinctive reactions I have to my wife, which are much more vivid now. And I don't like them, they're kind of awful. And I breathe into them and I say, this is my being loving me, because those things came from a protective place that create a barrier so that I don't either make myself vulnerable or expose myself to harm in some way. And by exhaling with, this is my body loving me, it's a combination of metta and insight, I guess. But the sensation is sort of creating a Teflon surface so that whatever comes up kind of goes out in the wash with that exhale. And in that moment, I can be more present and not so, attachment is the thing, but I've tried it with different hindrances, with different, it's astonishing how many there are. But staying with the breath, staying with that long, slow exhale, it's just been transforming my days. And it's been 2 or 3 days, but I wanted to share that. It's really quite wonderful. And your meditation today spoke right to that. Thank you. You always seem to know, don't you?
I track you. We have our ways.
Yes. There's that thing you put in my neck in your office.
No, it was when you got your COVID vaccine. The microchips. I've tuned into the Bill Gates microchips. So anywhere I want, I can tell what's happening. Though you know, my last statement is actually not respectful for the people who believe that stuff. Because we can believe anything depending upon what we're exposed to. Any of us. The Buddha said that until full awakening, any being is capable of the most heinous act, given the wrong circumstances. So, compassion is the name of the game, I think. Hard to practice. Maybe not. Might not be hard to practice. So, is there anybody else who's sitting with something you'd like to share? Or should share, or want to share?
Bon voyage, Robert.
Thank you, Hadley.
Yeah, don't get dead.
I do my best. The roads are terrible, I'm told. Okay. It occurs to me, a memory comes to me. I did a retreat with an amazing man, Achan Amaro. He's now the abbot of Chithurst Monastery in England, the Thai forest tradition. A few of us sat around after the retreat in the teacher's cabin at Cloud Mountain. And we were having a wonderful time, and one of his students came in and said, "Bhante, we have to go, or you may miss your plane." And he said this, which was, and I say it to you, it's been really wonderful being with you. And I hope to see you again. And if I don't, it's been a marvelous ride. And I will always be grateful. So, with that, let us sing ourselves home. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. See you in a couple of weeks. Happy trails, everybody.
Have a fantastic trip.
Thank you, Jilly.
Goodbye, newborn earthlings.
Bye.